Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, the new chapter that is getting closer and closer. Day after day, we're approaching the official release, which we know is set for February 18, and that means one very clear thing: we're also getting closer to the final trailer. And that's exactly what we're focusing on today. In this video, we're going to explore some theories based on everything we've seen so far, especially centered around the final trailer and what it might show us. Because yes, even if it all seems unpredictable, when we look at the trailers from previous chapters, we can actually find several patterns in common. Certain details always come back, some editing choices repeat themselves, and the final trailer usually follows a very specific logic. By analyzing these elements, we can try to understand how the Chapter 5 final trailer might be structured, which scenes could be shown, what kind of atmosphere we should expect, and most importantly, what role it will play in the overall story of the game. Not just from a gameplay perspective, but also in terms of narrative, characters, and connections to everything that has been built so far. Of course, we'll also step into ARG territory, because by now it's clear that Poppy Playtime goes far beyond what we see in official videos. There are clues scattered everywhere, connections, small details that are often anticipated through trailers, teasers, and extra material. Putting all of this together helps us get a clearer picture of what Mob Entertainment might want to show us one last time before the release. Before we get started though, as always, I just want to ask you something simple but important. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos about Poppy Playtime, the ARG, and all the upcoming news. With that said, let's jump into the video and start analyzing what the final trailer of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 might be hiding. First of all, let's start from what we already know, because before making theories, it's important to set some solid points. The final trailer will almost certainly be a gameplay trailer. Even though Mob Entertainment has not officially confirmed that there will be a gameplay trailer for Chapter 5, we can say it with a good level of confidence just by looking at what they have always done in the past. This is basically a pattern that has repeated for years. We saw it with Project Playtime, then with Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, and again with Chapter 4. In all of these cases, the gameplay trailer was always released about 1 week before the chapter launch. For this reason, it is pretty logical to expect the same thing this time as well. We are now very close to February 18, so the timing is exactly right. A final trailer showing the game in action, with scenes taken directly from gameplay, feels almost inevitable. But now, there is an important detail that we need to add, and this is where things change compared to the past. In previous chapters, the gameplay trailer also had another key role, which was revealing the release date. It was the moment when Mob Entertainment clearly said, "The game comes out on this day," removing any remaining doubts. This time, however, things are different. The release date of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 has already been revealed in advance, and not through a gameplay trailer, but through the second cinematic trailer, the one focused entirely on the prototype. This is a major change in their communication strategy. As a result, the final trailer will no longer need to do what it always did before, which is announcing the release date. And this opens up a very interesting scenario. If it does not need to tell us when the game is coming out, then what will this trailer really be for? It is very likely that the focus will shift to something else. It could show gameplay mechanics more clearly, or give us a better look at new areas, new situations, or maybe even more direct hints about the story. Now let's see what could be in the final trailer. As we said before, it will be a gameplay trailer, so the main focus will obviously be on the game itself. This means we'll see real in-game footage from Chapter 5 without too many cinematic cuts, and most importantly, we'll get our first look at the new gameplay mechanics. And this is where the new elements introduced so far comes into play, which is the yellow hand. The cinematic trailer dedicated to the prototype already confirmed its presence, so we know for sure it will be one of the core additions in this chapter. And if we look at Poppy Playtime's history, one thing is very clear. Every chapter has always introduced a new hand, each one with different features that change the way the game is played. In Chapter 5, it will be the yellow hand's turn. At the moment though, we still don't know exactly what its role will be. We don't know if it will be tied to combat, puzzle solving, exploration, or a mix of all these elements. Unfortunately, we don't have information about it. It's very likely that this will be the moment when Mob Entertainment finally shows us what this hand is actually used for, even if only partially. Maybe through short clips, quick shots, or scenes where we see the player using it in specific situations. Adding a new hand with new functions is never just a visual detail. It means new ways to interact, new puzzles designed specifically around that mechanic, and as a result, a gameplay experience that feels more varied compared to previous chapters. The trailer could give us a clear idea of how much this hand will impact the overall gameplay. So, it's very likely that in the final trailer we'll see exactly this. Gameplay scenes where the yellow hand is being used, maybe without direct explanations, but clear enough to let us understand how it works. A small taste of how Chapter 5 aims to refresh the gameplay while still keeping the structure we already know. Speaking of the new hand, there is another very interesting element we need to talk about, because in Chapter 5, it won't just be a new hand that gets introduced, but also a new device. We have already seen this device several times, even if only in a subtle way. It appears both in the Halloween artwork and in the Christmas artwork, and that's definitely not a coincidence. On top of that, we also saw it again at the beginning of the new ARG video that Mob Entertainment released just a few days ago. When an object shows up this many times, in different contexts, it's hard to believe it's just decorative. From what we can observe, this tool looks like some kind of metal rod with a baseball attached and a clearly visible battery. It has a very unusual design, quite different from the tools we've seen so far, and that's exactly why it stands out so much. At the moment, we still don't know what this device will actually be used for. It could be a defensive tool, maybe usable only in specific situations, or it could be connected to solving puzzles, which is something Poppy Playtime does very often. However, the presence of the battery is a crucial detail, because it suggests that this is an electric tool that runs on energy. This opens up several interesting possibilities. For example, it could have a limited charge, which drains as you use it, forcing the player to manage the battery and recharge it at certain points in the level. A mechanic like this would add an extra layer of tension and strategy, especially during dangerous moments. Once again, introducing a device like this would further enrich the gameplay, making it more complex and less linear compared to previous chapters. It wouldn't just be about moving around and solving puzzles with the hands anymore, but also about managing resources and tools. And this brings us back to the final trailer. Maybe this device will finally be shown in action in the gameplay trailer. Maybe through short clips, maybe just for a few seconds, but enough to give us an idea of what role it will play inside the game. We could see the player using it, interacting with the environment, or handling certain situations thanks to this tool. If it really does appear in the trailer, it will be one of the most important clues to understand how much Chapter 5 will focus on new mechanics and on deeper gameplay compared to the past. And with that, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you've noticed any other details, or what your theories are about what we might see in the Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 final trailer. Thank you so much to everyone for watching the video until the end. Make sure to stay tuned, because in the next few days there could be new information, new clues from the ARG, and maybe even official news directly from Mob Entertainment. As soon as something comes out, we'll talk about it right here on the channel. Bye bye and see you soon.